morning. Welcome to Sunday Morning Yoga. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. So if you don't have them already, you might want a blanket or a pillow to sit on. Blocks are always helpful, but not necessary. We're blessed with a beautiful morning. There's some cloud cover, so it's not quite as hot. But it's not raining. A little humid, but still a great time to practice outside. But there's still another minute if you want to take your device and your mat and go outside and practice at your house. So it's 7:45, so let's get started. My name is Lisa. Thanks for practicing yoga with me this morning. We're going to start in whatever easy seated position allows you to have a nice straight spine. And just give yourself a moment to connect with yourself. Notice where your breath is this morning. Where is it in your body? Are you breathing fast or slow, deep, shallow? It's been so hot out. Maybe your breath even feels warm. And then notice your body itself. Anything calling for your attention, an ache, a pain, a tightness, whatever's calling for your attention. Give it some gentle acknowledgement. No judgment. Just meet yourself wherever you are. So the heat not only affects our breathing and our body, but sometimes it actually affects our mood as well. Or maybe that's the first thing that gets affected for you. Makes you a little hot, a little cranky, a little short-tempered. And our yoga practice can help with that. So we're going to practice a breath this morning that's called Shilajit. It's a cooling breath. You'll actually be able to feel cooling through this breath. So some people, it's sort of a DNA thing. They can stick out their tongue and curl the sides up and make like a straw. But some people can't, or some people just don't want to do that because it's a little uncomfortable. If that's you, you're just going to put your tongue on the roof of your mouth behind your teeth and open your mouth a little. And that's what we're going to do for the inhale. So you're either going to stick out your tongue and make that straw, or you're going to stick your tongue on the roof of your mouth and open your mouth a little and inhale. But when you're ready to exhale, close your mouth and breathe out your nose. We're going to do that 5 times. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. 2, 3, 4, last one, 5. Let the breath out your nose. And then realign your spine here. And then we'll just start our 3-part breath. Inhaling through your nose, filling your abdomen, filling your ribs, filling your chest. And then exhale now, chest, ribs, and belly. Start again. Inhale. And exhale. And then we'll set some intention for practice. And bring the hands right to the heart. Whatever it is that comes to your mind, no need to dig, doesn't have to be deep. Maybe you really do need some cooling this week. Maybe you need to remember to keep a cooler temperament. Maybe you just want to offer some peace out into the world or to someone who needs it. Whatever that is for you, we'll see how I practice here at the heart where the true self remains. So lokaha somasaha sukino bhavantu lokaha somasaha sukino bhavantu lokaha somasaha sukino bhavantu. Om Shanti 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 Om. We're going to begin this practice standing this morning. So go ahead and stand up right at the top of your mat. Bring your feet right underneath you. And find a mountain pose this morning. And because we're looking for cooling, we're going to bring our hands right out in front of us. Open up our palms. Give ourselves an opportunity to receive. And then on the inhale, open up your arms. And on the exhale, bring your hands right to your back. Let out the breath. Inhale, open your heart, shoulder blades together. And then on an exhale, bend your knees and take a forward fold. Let your hands land. And then inhale and look up. Straighten the legs if that feels good. And exhale, go inside. And then inhale. Come up with a nice flat back. Reach tall. And exhale right to the heart, right back to that intention, and then right back to receiving. And then we'll do that again. Inhale, open. Exhale, hands on the back, let the breath out. Inhale, offer the heart, a little back bend. Exhale, bend the knees, let the hands come to the floor. Inhale, look up. And exhale, go inside. Inhale, reverse that swan dive, come all the way up. And exhale, right to the heart. Palms back out. Finding the breath. We're going to do that again, but we're going to add on this time. Inhale, open. Exhale, hands to the back. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, take the fold. Inhale, look up. And this time on the exhale, step the right foot back and turn the left foot out about 45 degrees. Bring your hands to the inside. So you can leave that back knee on the mat, or you can drop it down if that feels better to you. And then just bounce the right hand over a little and bring the left hand out behind you. We're going to take some circles with this shoulder, letting the arm open up. Maybe the next time you inhale and bring the arm up, you lift the hips as well, and then sink it in, and then take that circle again, and then go the other direction. Beautiful. And then bring the hands right back to center, and then step that leg back, and we'll find that first downward facing dog. Let the legs paddle, really wiggle, turn to the side. Let the breath out here. And then go ahead and drop the knees here and find a tabletop pose. And on the inhale, we'll take a cow pose and open the heart. And on the exhale, take a cat. A couple of rounds. And then walk your hands out about 6 inches. So this pose is called extended puppy. So it's kind of like down dog. We're just going to stay here on our knees, but we are going to go ahead and surrender the heart and the head. Just leave the hips high, just like down dog. Give yourself a breath here. And then we're going to drop the elbows here, straighten out the legs, bring ourselves right into a Sphinx pose. Melt the pubic bone down, let the legs extend. And then take an inhale here, and on the exhale, lower the heart. Pull the hands back to the chest. Inhale, come right up into a cobra. We're going to take a little wiggle there. Let yourself look over your shoulder. Open up the hips. And then on the exhale, lift the abdomen, come back to downward facing dog. And then look right between the hands and step the right foot forward. And turn yourself out to the side and let yourself fold. Take some wiggles here. Keep the knees loose, the hips loose. Maybe make some circles. Letting the breath flow through the body. And then we're going to do this crazy thing and walk the hands behind you so you're turning around. You're going to stay up in that lunge. Bring the right hand back in. We're making circles with the same side. Knee up or down, your choice. Reach behind you. Take an inhale, lift the hips, and exhale, release. And lift, and release. Lift, and release. And then bring the hands back to the inside. Separate them. Step back to downward facing dog here. And then bring the knees down. Walk the hands out. Find that extended puppy. And open that up into Sphinx. Surrender the heart. Hands move back. Inhale, lift into Cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And then look between the hands. Step the right foot forward. Turn out to the side. Back to that wide fold. And then walk the hands to the front. Push off of the back foot. Step forward. Uttanasana. Forward fold. And then reverse a swan dive. Lift up nice and tall. And bring the hands back to the heart. Back to that intention. And then bring the palms out in front of you. And then find that cooling Shilajit breath, either with the tongue out or at the roof of your mouth. Open the mouth and inhale. And exhale, close the eyes, close the mouth, send the breath out the nose. 2 times. Inhale. And exhale. And then inhale, open the arms. Exhale, hands to the back. Inhale, offer the heart. And exhale, take that forward fold. Inhale, look up. And this time on the exhale, we're going to send the left foot back. We're going to move the left hand in, bring the right arm out behind you. You can place the knee down if that feels better to you. And then inhale, lift the hips. And exhale and take the circle. 4 circles. That's number 3. That's number 4. And then go ahead and step back to downward facing dog. And then once again, drop to the knee. And we'll take those cow and some cat poses here. Tip the pelvis, fill the belly with breath. Big curve in the low back. Open the heart. And exhale other direction. Beautiful. And then step the hands out. We're going for that extended puppy. Take an inhale, exhale, surrender the heart. Hips stay lifted. Maybe you even want to walk your hands out a little bit further. And then because we've done this a couple of times, maybe you can let your heart sink down towards the mat. Deeper fold there. And then the elbows are on the mat and we're dropping ourselves into that Sphinx. Let the heart lift. And then let it surrender. And then pull the hands back. Lift the heart, Cobra. take some wiggles. Look over, let the hips lift. When we're hot, everything gets so tightened up. So we're wiggling, letting some of the heat out of the body. And on the exhale, go back to downward facing dog. Let the armpits lift here. And then look right between the hands and step the left foot forward and turn yourself out a wide way on the mat. And take a hold here. And then bring opposite elbows here and just let yourself sway and release. The hands can surrender here. And then we're walking ourselves to the back part of the mat into that lunge this way. Knee up or down. Left hand engages, right one reaches behind. And inhale, you can lift up the hips and exhale. Drop them. Lift. Drop. Lift. Drop. And then let the hands frame the foot. Step back to downward facing dog. Let out all your breath. And then take that inhale. Stretch out. Drop the knees. Walk the hands out. Find that extended puppy. Can you let the heart surrender? And then stretch right out to that face pose. And then surrender the heart. Hands pull back, lift up, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward. Turn yourself wide. And then walk the hands to the front of the mat. Push off. Step forward. Surrender. And then reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up. Give yourself a little back bend. Exhale to the heart. Find your breath. And then bring the palms back out in front of you. Back to that cooling breath, or just a regular 3-part breath. And then inhale, stretch the arms out wide. Exhale right here. Inhale, lift the arms high. And then take the right wrist with the left hand. Give yourself a little half moon pose. And lift it up. Switch sides. And lift that up tall. And then inhale, reach up for the sky. And on the exhale, send the right foot back. Turn it out about 45 degrees and let yourself settle right into a warrior one. Find the outside of the back foot. Invite a square into the front knee. And then take an inhale here. On the exhale, take a bow. And inhale, lift. Turn the back heel up here. And then start to switch your weight into that left foot. Kickstand the right one behind you. We're going to find a warrior 3. The hips are straightened. We're locking those bandhas. And we're taking that forward. Beautiful. Tip it back up. Drop the back foot back into that warrior one. And then bring yourself out to the wide part of the mat. Toes and the heels are in alignment. And we're reaching up and finding that 5-pointed star. And then we're going to bring the toes out a little, the heels in, open up the knees, drop right into a goddess pose. And then even here, let yourself wiggle. right? Sink that down, drop the hands. Left one stays down, reach up the right, and then take a side bend. And then lift that up, let the breath out, drop the hand. Maybe you need to straighten the legs for a moment. Sink yourself back in. The sacrum stays pointing down, right? So not tucked under, not pushed back, right in the middle. Let yourself drop. Lift up the left hand. Take a little side bend. And then back to center. Got both hands. Can you go a little lower? And then bring the knees to straighten. Toes and heels line up again. And take a wide-legged fold here. So maybe you're open wide enough. Maybe you want to toe heel your feet out to open a little wider, surrender a little deeper. And then bring yourself back to a flat back. We're going to put a little bend in the left knee. Let ourselves walk our hands over, take a wide lunge this way. So you can leave the knee with just a little bend. You can bring the knee all the way down to bend. Just make sure on your extended leg here, your toe and your knee are facing the same direction, either up or facing forward, your choice. And then walk your hands back through the side, go to the right side, bend the right knee. So no need to go all the way down. This is a beautiful stretch right here. My knee and my toe are facing the same direction. And then back to the center. Take your fold. And then walk the hands back to the front of the mat. Toes turn forward, back heel as well, and step yourself back to downward facing dog. So that flow we were doing before, with the Sphinx pose, we're going to do that again. But if you're feeling like building some heat this morning, instead of that, you can stretch out to plank and chaturanga and cobra. But I'm going to drop my knees, step my hands out, surrender into that extended puppy, bring myself to that Sphinx, surrender the heart and move my arms back, and then I'll find my cobra and my downward facing dog. And then look right between the hands. Hop or step forward. Take a forward fold. And reverse that swan dive, come all the way up. Bring the hands right to the heart. Bring the palms forward. And inhale, bring them out. Exhale them here. Inhale, lift them up. Right hand takes the left wrist. Standing crescent. Inhale, back to center, switch wrist. Standing crescent the other way. Inhale, back to center. This time set the left foot back. Turn it out about 45 degrees. Find a warrior one on this side. Sink right in. Back. The outside part of the back foot is looking for the ground or the floor here. Take an inhale and an exhale. Take a bow. And an inhale, lift up tall. And then lift that back heel. And then we're going to step ourselves in, using that right leg to hold the weight, and tip ourselves forward into a warrior three. And then let the knee bend, sink yourself back to that warrior. And then bring the hands forward, turn yourself out. Toes and the heels are in alignment, and find that 5-pointed star. So you want to move the thighs back to the back plane of the body, and then reach up tall. And then let yourself Bring your hands to your hips, toes out, heels in. Drop yourself into goddess. Find those beautiful arms. Pull the shoulders back. Open the fingers. Let it wiggle. And then drop the right arm. Lift the left. Take another crescent. Bring it back to center. Drop. And again, lift the right. Take that into a crescent. And then can you go just a little lower? And then toes and the heels back in alignment, legs straight, back to that fold. And then we want to find those side lunges, so bend the left knee. Keep the amount of bent in your knee that you want to take that side lunge in. And then walk back to center. And take that side lunge onto the right side. And then back to center. And then we're going to walk the hands forward, turn all the toes, and step back to downward facing dog. And then pick your transition. Stay here in dog, take a child pose, or send yourself out to plank and take a chaturanga, or drop the knees. Find extended puppy. Send that into a sphinx. Surrender. Lift into cobra. And exhale. Downward facing dog. And then look between the hands. And hop or step forward. Take a full fold. And then reverse that swan dive. Come all the way up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Bring the palms back out in front of you. Go back to that cooling breath. And then inhale, lift the arms tall. Exhale, float it forward. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, go inside. And then reverse your swan dive. Come all the way up. And then step the right foot back. Use it as a kickstand here. We're going to find that warrior three again. So take an inhale, get tall. And then start to tip forward. Lift that right foot up off the floor. And then this time, when you tip back up, bring that foot into the side of the leg and find a tree pose. And then bring the knee forward and step the foot back just a couple of feet. So there's only a couple of feet between your feet. It's a funny thing to say. And we're going to go for that pyramid pose. We want to take the hips and bring the hips to forward. Equal weight in both feet. You can bring your hands right to your hips. And then inhale here, and on an exhale, first bring the body parallel to the ground. Keep pushing the left hip back, the right one forward. Keep equal weight in the feet. And then start to let yourself surrender. So this is a great place for your blocks if you have them, because you can bring one to either side. And then as much as you can, surrender into that front leg. And then we're going to push our weight into that left foot and reach the right one up nice and tall. You can transfer the hands down to the ground here, surrender the head, and take that standing split. And then go ahead and bring that right foot down. Bring it right next to the left. Take a full fold. Reverse the swan dive. Come all the way up and back to the heart. Beautiful balancing, almost at the full moon, right? This week. Sometimes that's a little helpful for our balancing poses. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, give yourself a forward fold. Inhale, look up, and exhale, go inside. Reverse the swan dive, come all the way up. And this time, send the left foot back as the kickstand. The right one's holding the weight. Sometimes it's helpful to keep a little bend in there. We're going to lock the bandhas, right? Do a Kegel, lift the belly and then up, pull the head back. And then let yourself tilt forward and find that warrior three. And then bring yourself back upright, but land in the tree pose. And then bring the knee forward. Step the foot back just a couple of feet. We're setting up for that pyramid. Hands can come right to the hips. Bring the body parallel to the ground. Pull the belly in, send the hips back. And then allow yourself to surrender. Hands can come to the mat, to the floor, to the block. And then we're going to transfer the weight into that right foot. Lift the left and find that standing split. And then tuck that left foot in right next to the right and take a forward fold. And then reverse that swan dive. All the way up, give yourself a back bend. And exhale right to the heart. Right to the breath. And then back to a seating. And find a mountain pose. I'm going to take a drink, and I want us to put all of that together. Make a beautiful flow. Bring the palms right out in front of you. Find a long, deep breath. Really enjoy an inhale here. And then exhale, deep and long. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale, hands to the back. Inhale, open the heart. And exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, right foot steps back. Stay up on the toe here. We're down in our lunge. We're bringing the right hand in towards the left foot. Bend in the left hand back. Inhale, lift the hips, make a circle. Exhale, surrender. This time on the inhale, open the heart up to the sky here. And then on the exhale, step back to downward facing dog. So you can take the classic plank and chaturanga, or drop the knees. Find extended puppy. Slide into Sphinx. Surrender and move the hands back. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot lifts. And exhale, replace it. Inhale, right leg lift. And on the exhale, step it through the hams. And then start to transfer the weight into that foot. Lift the back leg, find that Beautiful. Flip. And then just drop that foot a couple feet behind and turn that right into that pyramid pose. And then lift up nice and tall. Bring the weight into the right foot. Kickstand the left. Find that warrior three. And then lift that up and find that tree pose. And exhale right to the heart. Gorgeous. There's a nice light breeze here, so I'm getting to flow with the breeze. Bring the palms up back to receive. Other side. Inhale, open the arms. Exhale, bring them to the back. Roll the shoulders back. Elbows point behind you. Inhale, lift the heart. Then exhale, take a fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, surrender. Step the left foot back. Sorry about that. Bring the left hand in, reach the right arm back. And then inhale, lift the hip, and drop. And lift the hips, and drop. And then keep that right arm behind you, and open the heart here in that twist. And then transfer that to downward facing dog. Snap the knees. Step the hands out. Extended puppy. We've done a few. Can you surrender the heart right down to your mat? And then stretch that into a Sphinx pose. And then exhale. Bring the hands back. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Yep. Inhale, right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, release. Inhale, left foot up. Then this time, step the left foot through. Beautiful. Transfer the weight into the left foot. Lift the right. Find that standing foot. And then exhale. Bring that foot down just a couple of feet behind and surrender that into pyramid. Lift up tall. Shift the weight into your left foot. Kickstand the back one. And tip that into a warrior three. And then lift that right into a tree. And then exhale that right into a mountain pose, right back to your intention. And bring the palms right back out. And just take a couple more of those beautiful Shilajit cooling breaths. We created a little heat. Now we'll create a little cooling. Bring the hands back to the heart. Inhale, lift and through. Exhale, take a fold and step back to downward facing dog. And then right away here, drop the knees. Bring the big toes together. Open up the knees. Give yourself a moment in child pose. A few breaths there. And then bring yourself to seated. Shift the legs around. And we're going to lay down on our back. And we're going to set ourselves up for a bridge pose. So the feet are about hips width apart. The energy of the legs are pushing into the midline. A little turn there. There's a nice curve under your low back. And then on the next inhale, we're going to lift the hips straight up, push the feet down into the mat. And find that bridge pose. Widen the toes, lift the hips higher. And then if it's in your practice to do so, you can walk the shoulders underneath you, squeeze the shoulder blade, interlace the fingers. Lift the hips high. And then on an exhale, you're going to widen the shoulders first, drop the hips, bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug and a squeeze, and then invite some circles here. One direction, circles the other direction. And then bring the feet back down to the floor. Take a wiggle. Set yourself up. So I want to do that again, or if you have wheel in your practice, you can take a wheel pose. So both of them start the same way. I think what I'll do is turn myself around so you can see the other angle. All right, so I'm setting up the same way that I set up for my bridge pose with my feet down on the floor, that low curve in my low back. But before I lift, I'm going to bring my hands here by my ears. Elbows are pointed up. And on my inhale, I'm going to lift up my hips and push into my hands at the same time and start that wheel. So I can let myself down onto my head for a moment and move my arms back a little. And then lift it up nice and high. And then when you're coming down, the chin tucks into the chest, and you lower, and you take some rocks in the low back. And then bring yourself back up to seated. And then bring yourself back into tabletop. I'm going to take a couple of cow and cats here. Let the back release. And then bring the right knee right behind the right wrist. We're going to point the knee out right towards the corner of the mat. We're going to turn the toes down towards the mat and click them, lock them in there. And then let the leg wiggle back. And bring yourself into a pigeon pose here. We want to keep the hips level, right? We don't want to rock to one side or the other. And you can bring the hands back, open up the heart here. So beautiful to stay right there. Or you can bounce that right hand into the center of the mat, bend the left knee, take that open palm and reach for the inside of the foot and bring the foot towards the glute. Beautiful thigh stretch there. And then let that open. And now the thing we all love about pigeon, right, is that surrender forward. I have my block here, so I'm going to put it under my head. Then I'm going to lift that back up. Walk the hands back. Bring that knee back underneath me in that table and go back to those cow and cat stretches. And then I'm going to set my pigeon up on the other side. I'm going to bring my left knee behind my left wrist, knee towards the corner, toes click down. And now I can start to send that right leg back as far as it goes. Pedicure side of the toes down on the mat. And then walk the hands back Be nice and tall. Open the heart. You can stay right here. It's gorgeous, beautiful. If you're looking for a little bit more sensation, you can take the left hand in, bend the right knee, surge with that open palm for the foot, and bring the foot towards the boot. And then let that open. And then go for that nice deep surrender. Bring my head right to this block. And then walk yourself back up. I'm going to just shimmy this leg around and bring myself to seated with my legs out in front. So this is the part where I want my blanket. So I'm going to take my blanket and I'm going to put it sort of on the diagonal so that I can perch on the end here and just bring my hips forward a little bit and still have room on either side. And bring the legs out straight. So the toes are facing up, the knees are facing up. The arms are going to be by my side. My shoulder blades are searching for each other. And I'm in Dandasana. That's seated staff pose. With a nice lifted heart. And then on an inhale, lift the arms tall. And on the exhale, the energy of the legs moves back and the body moves forward. And I take myself into this folded position here. So try not to collapse in the shoulder and the heart. Leave the heart forward. Reach with the hands. And then inhale, lift up nice and tall. And exhale and bring the hands down. Gorgeous. And then bend the left knee in. So this right leg here can stay straight, or you can tuck it under you if that's in your practice. This left leg can stay there, or you can bring it to the outside of your leg. I'm going to keep mine right here. And take an inhale up with my right hand. And then I'm going to wrap that right arm right around my leg. So my knee and my elbow are friends right there. And I'm going to bring the left one up nice and tall. And on an exhale, twist that open. Bring the left hand to land behind you. Look behind you if you have no issues with your neck. Every time you inhale here, get tall in the spine. And exhale, look behind. And then everything comes back to forward. Give it a little wiggle. Left leg stays straight. Right knee bends. Find the position for that foot that works for you. So it's still our goal here to keep a nice straight spine, keep a nice little tilt in your pelvis. Lift up with the left. Wrap that arm around. And then reach up with the right. And make that rainbow. Take that twist. Land the arm. And then unwind. And bring that leg back out in front of you. Give it a little wiggle. And then take the legs out wide. I'm going to do a wide-legged fold here. So we still want the toes and the knees to face up, right? The legs are not in Shavasana. There's still that tilt to the pelvis. The pubic bone is pointing behind you. There's still a natural curve in my low back. And I'm going to take the arms and lift them up on the inhale. And before I take this fold on the exhale, I'm going to drop the left hand, the right hand's going to get tall, and I'm going to just take a side bend. Not over the legs, but just to the side. And then inhale, lift up. Drop the right hand, get tall with the left, take a side bend. And then lift up. Turn the belly towards the left leg. We're going to invite that right hip to stay down, but we're not going to force. Take an inhale. On the exhale, pull the belly in. Let yourself fold forward. Right? No curving here. Nice big heart. And if with your nice big heart, you can take your left hand down to the mat and reach the foot with the right without going like this, keeping the heart big, you can do that. If not, you can bring the hands right to the side. And take a fold that way. And then lift the heart up. Turn to the center. Take a big exhale. On the inhale, lift the arms tall. And exhale, same fold, right to the center. And then inhale, back to tall. This time turn the belly towards the right leg. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, fold forward. You can bring the right hand out here like a kickstand. And if you can reach the inside of the foot, see how I'm struggling here? I'm not going to. Not feeling very stretchy on that side this morning. I'm going to let my hands stay nice and wide and lead with my heart forward. Maybe after a few breaths of surrender. And then back to center. And then we're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together and open the knees out wide. And go ahead and hold on to the outside of the shins or the ankles or even the outside of the feet. Just don't force the feet together. Let them do their thing. And then take an inhale here. And on the exhale, lead forward with the heart. So the elbows here can press down on the legs. Might help the legs travel a little, which is fine. We don't want to cause pain. We just want to find our edge here, our growing edge. And then inhale up and lead with the heart. Then exhale. Let the legs extend. We're going to find our way onto our back. Maybe a little scooch forward. I'm going to remove my blanket here. Let myself roll onto the back. You can hug the knees into the chest if that feels good. And then put the right foot down on the ground or the floor. Cross the left ankle across like you're making the number 4. And then reach between the legs with the left hand, and the right hand comes behind the thigh. And lift the foot off the floor. And start to hug that knee into the chest. So careful with the neck. We all have a tendency to go like this and tip the chin. Instead, bring it back into alignment. Find the middle of the skull. Press that into the floor. And then release. Bring the right foot back.
Bring the left knee right into the chest. Give it a little hug. And then keeping the low back curve, you can straighten that leg here. Bring the left arm out to the side. Hold on to the left knee with the right hand, and then roll onto the right hip. So sometimes when we do this, we can only get partial the way there because we're trying to hold our shoulder down. So be unconventional. Let this left shoulder lift up. Bring yourself all the way onto that right hip, right? And you can reach that left hand out. And then bring it to the ground or the floor. And then just brush it up and over your head to open the heart. Giving yourself that full twist, taking a full breath there. And then roll onto the back. Both knees come in, give them a hug and a squeeze. And then put both feet back on the mat or the ground. Cross the right ankle over the left. And take that stretch. Hold it on behind the thigh. And reach that in. And then let the left foot come back to the floor. Bring the right knee into the chest. Keep a low back curve and straighten the left leg if that's possible for you. And then extend the right arm. Hold on to the knee with the left hand and roll onto the left hip. Let this shoulder release so that you can roll all the way there. And then bring that arm out in front of you. And then roll. And just brush it up and over your head. Bring it open. And then roll yourself onto your back. Hug the knees in. Give yourself a little hug and a squeeze and rock from side to side. So if you have a block or a book, you can lift up the hips and put it underneath your sacrum here. Bring your hands to it. And then lift up your legs and give yourself a little inversion. If you have no block or no book, no big deal. Take your hands, make a diamond shape, and put that diamond shape underneath your sacrum. And then let the legs lift up. And give yourself a moment of inversion, whichever one works for you. So we're getting to that full moon this week. We did lots of moon poses, took all of the deconstructed poses from a moon salutation and worked them into our practice today. And now we're ending with this inversion. And then you can let the feet come down to the mat. And let the hips return if you're on a block. Give your knees a swipe from side to side. And then bring the legs out nice and long. Bring the palms to face up one more time. And open up the arms a little. Make a little airspace underneath your armpits. And just take a moment of Shavasana. I think we still have a minute. Let me check. We do. We'll have 1 minute. A little wiggle back to the fingers, back to the toes. And then let yourself roll onto your side. Pause there for a moment. And then bring yourself back up to seated. And bring the hands right to heart center. So that was sort of a cheesy Shavasana. So if you're at home and you need a little bit more Shavasana, you should go ahead and take it. So thank you for practicing with me this morning. I wish you a beautiful, pleasant week, and the heat is building up for you. May you remember to take a few of those cooling Shilajit breaths. The divine light that shines in me sees and honors the divine light that shines in each of you. Namaste. Thanks for practicing. Have a beautiful Sunday.